Hi Rafikis, welcome back to Politically Correct. Sorry, there have been no videos up here, but that's because I realized it can't be a one-man show anymore, and so I decided to bring along Chapter 2. Lawyer. I recently graduated this year, and I'm so happy to be here today. I can define it by means of illustration. Let's assume me and Kylie are in a relationship, a heterosexual relationship, and we are unable to conceive and carry a baby to term. So there's been developments in medical technology that enables a couple to have a child outside, like the mother's womb. So we get a lady X to carry this child for us. So we have two types of surrogacy. We have traditional surrogacy and gestational surrogacy. And classify surrogacy in two ways. We have the commercial, or we can have the altruistic.
Yes, I am.
Do you know the story of Abraham and Sarah, how they couldn't conceive a child?
Yes.
So when Sarah commissioned Haggai to carry a child, to conceive a child with Abraham and carry that child, that's a form of surrogacy.
So I think there's definitely need to have surrogacy laws, particularly just to protect both the birth mother and the intended mother. Do you think having a child is a right?
I don't think having a child is a right. And you could debate me on this, put your comments down below. And another question that comes to mind is a family unit complete without a child?
I think it is complete without a child, but I feel like I'm on the opposing view. I feel like if I want to have a child, I should be able to have a child. If I can afford to have a child, I should be able to have a child.
Why not adopt a child?
I mean, that's an option as well, but most of the times, even when surrogacy, you still have to adopt the child for the child to be yours.
In Kenya, that's the case, since we don't have any laid out laws on surrogacy. There's a reproductive health bill which is laying in the shelves in parliament. So the only way that a couple who's commissioned a surrogacy can have that child is through adoption processes. And the reason that is, other than the loopholes in the law, is that we don't want children to be trafficked by foreign nationals or even within the local context.
I see no wrong in it. Like, if I have the eggs, but my womb is just not able to hold this baby full term, why can't I use someone else's womb to bring out the child?
So if you're interested in studying the topic further, you can look at different jurisdictional approaches to surrogacy, Netherlands and Sweden, and a couple of other countries that I'd also like to recommend by Professor Murugi and Justice Lenaola. They've written a book on bioethics that tackles the loopholes and the current questions we have in medicine, ethics, and law.
Everywhere. So obviously I have enough male friends who can't help themselves, always hanging around with some 22-year-old person, and of course starts crying when she calls and says, I'm pregnant. And I was like, guys, don't mess around with those chicks. They're fertile.
They're
you
fertile.
spit near her, an oak tree will grow.
Precisely.
We're just talking about the different types of contraception, the things women need to do before getting contraception. You know, this whole idea of, oh, my friend got the implant, I should get the implant, but yet things are different. Each woman is unique. You know, what was your thought on the whole conversation?
The major takeaway is that we're all different. Me and Kylie are not the same. We're both women, but our makeup isn't the same. I'm taller than Kylie. We aspire to grow taller. Just differences in weight, lifestyle differences. So maybe I could be a smoker, she's not a smoker. I could have hypertension, and all these various factors, they bear onto the type of contraception method that you would want to use.
This is a conversation we need to have candidly.
Yes.
It had been shortened into EPEL.
Yep.
Yes.
Or P2.
Or P2. And I then realize it's being used every weekend.
Yep, now it's the Monday chocolate.
And they're talking about how they would not trust a Kenyan to lead Safaricom. They would just send all their credit to their family members. Like basically, that'd be corrupt. What's your thought on that?
I think in this particular context, I think hiring Michael Joseph was, I think, the prudent thing to do, because he's a previous CEO of the same company, and it's not a permanent measure. And I think that if the person has the expertise and the know-how on how to run a certain company, I don't think your nationality should play a big role in the decision.
You're okay with foreigners running companies, local companies, and say even the government is majority shareholder?
I don't mind, because this isn't a government parastatal. So if the reason that they're being chosen is that they're foreigners, I think that's a problem. But on an unbiased approach, let's say if they have the expertise, that's going to be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. I just don't like this whole idea of self-hate. The fact that there are people who think that a Kenyan can't do that job. I think a Kenyan can do that job.
Some people assume that just because you're Kenyan, you're born corrupt. I don't think that's a good way of looking at things. I think being corrupt is a choice. You choose to be corrupt.
Those who cannot remember their history are bound to repeat it. This week, the country forgot a moment in history that shook us to the very bone.
To remember the 1982 coup, which basically
37 years ago.
And it didn't really work out. It was like a failed attempt, but it almost worked. But I think the military just executed it badly.
So if you're looking for an account on the coup, a simplified account on the coup, you can check out History KE. And the coup was quelled within hours, and it was a major fail.
I think sometimes for change to happen, there needs to be a coup, especially where there's been dictatorship for a long period of time. The only way to move out of it, I think, I may be wrong, is through a coup.
I don't agree, because I don't think the word peaceful and coup can't be in the same sentence in my worldview, as well as something like a successful coup, because history has taught us that after coups, the person is usually, the dictator is usually replaced by even a worse off dictator, and the country is in ruins after the said coup. We can go to DRC, Congo, when Mobutu Sese Seko took over. We know how that story ended and how it continues to go. Arab Spring, we can go to Egypt and what happened in 2011. We had so much hope, but it was replaced by a much more rigid dictator.
Because sometimes I think it's necessary. Like sometimes someone can be in power for too long. It can get to the point where you're like, okay, really, guys. So I don't know. I maybe think sometimes a revolution is the only way for change to occur. Like something drastic has to happen for people to be like, okay, let's start a new norm.
I don't think so. I think change is not a 1 week or a 1 month or a 5-year type of thing.
Come to the section on this channel where we shout out Kenyan YouTubers who are underrated, doing their thing. Nessie and Alvin that I recently came upon. They share their traditional wedding. He's a gym enthusiast. He brings on his friends and they're all quite, conversations and matter, which I'm like, wow. So definitely check them out.
And I think you should check out Master Trail KE. Have you spoken about them on
Yes,
the
we've
channel?
shouted them out before, but I guess they can be a favorite twice. Why not?
Why not? I'm not going to spill any more.
And you have to go and watch
You have
for
to go.
yourself too. Thank you, Cheptum, for coming.
Thanks for having me.